Welcome back to the channel, y'all. Gotta say thank you to everyone who showed support yesterday. I really, really appreciated it. Well, I know I probably won't post this now, but whenever y'all see this, or whenever I post this, just thank you for all the support that y'all have given the channel. Like, God bless you all. Like, I wasn't expecting the channel to get as much attention as it did. And I mean, it only goes up from here, but I just want to say thank y'all for showing support. So, to begin, my fishing career has been going on for about, like I said, as long as before I can remember. Been fishing for bass no more than 5 years now, I'd say. Because my cousin Ty, he's the big bass fisherman. I'm talking about, you go to his house, you go to his den. I'm talking about literally nothing but fish. He has like 8 fish tanks. He has a chameleon in there. I'm talking about the guy's setup's nice. He has his own boat. Literally, you'll see. He'll be on the channel probably the whole summer because that's my fishing partner. But anyways, he's the one who got me into bass fishing. I was more of the, I'll go just to go. But once he showed me every aspect of bass fishing, it's just not casting a reel out there and reeling it in, or having a bobber on your blind and then waiting for it to go down and then you reel it in. No, bass fishing, there's so much more to it. And so that's what I'm probably going to be breaking down. That's probably be the first type of fish that I'll break down for y'all. So when it comes to bass fishing for me, I switched back to a spinning reel and a bait caster, in which it took me a very, very, very long time to master a bait caster. I just now am getting used to using a bait caster. I just got like really skilled at it this past summer. But when it comes to bait caster, I mean, you can use Abu Garcia, Shimano. I mean, just whatever your preference is. And honestly, my preference, I mean, I don't really go for the the really, really expensive stuff. I'm not gonna lie to y'all. I go to Walmart. I got this Black Max there, and I've had this for, I want to say it'll be a year this year. I want to say in May or June. But yeah, I mean, when it comes to as long as the reel fits you, I mean, that's really the only thing that you have to make sure that's okay with it. But when it comes to using it, I mean, it can be difficult. Like I said, it took me a while to, you actually get it down packed and actually be able to cast with it without bird nesting it. And bird nesting it, and like for my experienced fishermen who are on the channel, you know what a bird's nest is. And it can be a pain in the butt. But anyways, I'm going to go over my setups for my bait casters and spinning reels. So, well, I got my Googan Squad banger right here. It's the Sexy Crawl. Yeah, it's probably, I seen it online and I was like, man, I have to get my hands on it. First setup, my Abu Garcia Black Max. And it's a 6'6" rod. I mean, not too bad. Catch pretty much any size bass on it. I know I really didn't catch too many on this pole last year, but I mean, it does need good. Next one I'm bringing out probably be my Blue Max. This is my big boy. And for this one, I put on a bait ball. I know most of y'all don't know. And I mean, it just mimics a school of fish schooling and everything, And I've heard really, really good things about the bait ball. Bait ball is probably one of the main things for it's like a mini Alabama rig, in which I'll show you what an Alabama rig here in a little bit. But it's a mini Alabama rig in which, I mean, you can probably catch, like I said, you probably can catch regular bass on this. I say smaller bass just because, but I mean, 10 out of 10 recommended, I would say. But for me, whenever I'm fishing, I mean, my Lew's was my first bait caster. When I tell you I fell in love with it, and this is the pole that got me used to all bait casters, I got to say, this is probably my favorite. Out of all the rods and reels I have, by far my favorite one. And, I got this from Walmart. I got it for like $60. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like I told y'all don't have to have the best stuff to catch the biggest fish or to kill the biggest buck, man. And I mean, by means, this is my favorite pole. If I'm going fishing, this is with me. If I'm going bass fishing, I mean, this is going with me wherever I go. I don't care if it's Florida, you know, Texas, anywhere. I'm taking this with me. But I mean, because I said it fits me well. I mean, it's not too big and it's not, you know, that it fits me. And like I said, as long as it fits you, it fits you. But the bait that I got on here is the Z-Man Diesel Chatterbait. And I mean, I've heard really, really good things about these, and so I wanted to give it a try this year. And I mean, I have a lot of luck last year on chatterbaits, and I just started using chatterbaits. And chatterbaits are, you know, one of those baits that, like I said, the vibration of it just catches those fish's attention. And so once they hear that, once they feel that vibration in the water, like, oh, we got to see what that is, because I mean, yeah, back to the spinning reels. So this pole right here is my Red Max. It's a spinning reel by Aubrey Garcia. And, you know, this pole has been through it all. I left it at a pond one time, and I was like so worried about it, and then I had forgot about it. And then we went back to that pond, and it was still in the same spot. And I mean, just like, it was just sitting out there. Just like, everything was on it. Nothing was wrong with it. Still works fine. I cleaned it up as much as I could, but I mean, it really wasn't that much dirt and grime on it. So, but yeah, spinning reels, the whole aspect of the spinning reel, this is called Jabel right here. And so this is probably the easiest thing to use when it comes to bass fishing, because I mean, you don't want to use a push button. You don't want to use a push button reel, because I mean, they're really more for like pen fish, you know, it's the smaller fish. But with these are probably going to be for beginners. Like, I would recommend any person new to fishing start off with one of these, just because it's so much easier to learn and so much faster to learn. Because literally all you'll do is you'll flip this up right here, and then once you're ready to cast, you'll cast it and let go of the line. I mean, and I could teach anybody. I taught my girlfriend how to use one of these, and she loves these to death. Like, I've been trying to get her one, but she's like, oh, I don't want one. I just use it. I'm like, man, you were gonna need one. But anyways, but yeah, these are probably the easiest ones to use, and you'll probably see me using these whenever I go catfishing this summer, and just because of how good and reliable they really are. And you know, I mean, by all means, like I said, if you're interested in fishing and you go to Walmart, you go to any sporting goods store, I would say get you a reel like this. Not this specific one, but just get you an open face or spinning reel, open face spinning reel. God, that's a tongue twister. But yeah, I recommend anybody new to fishing getting one of these to start off with. But the bait on here, I have a Googan Mini Banger, and when I tell you this little bait right here, like, this was my go-to bait last season, and I was so crushed when my last one broke. And so when I went to Indiana, because that's where my girlfriend's from, I went to Academy, and they actually had it just by itself. And so I was like, I have to get this. I have to get it. So when I seen it, I was like, yeah, I got to get it, put it on them. And so I can't wait to fish with this. I can't wait to fish with them in the spring, y'all. So this little pole right here, this is the newest one to the collection. I was just out at Walmart, and you know, it's a Lew's. And, you know, like I said, Lew's is probably my favorite brand besides Aubrey Garcia. And when I seen them, I was just like, got to have them. And so yeah, man, this is my second one. You know, nothing too big. It's a what is it? It's a medium action. Oh, and that's another thing I'm gonna get onto after this. After I show you all my setups and stuff, is the medium. There's the light, medium, and heavy action reels and rods. Well, really just the rod, but yeah. But anyways, I got here my speed stick. This is the speed stick right here, and then this is the speed spin. And then on here, I have a Death Stalker from 10,000 fish. I mean, not 1,000, 10,000 fish. And I mean, I've heard really good things about them, and I've seen a lot of videos and pictures of it, and they catch a lot of fish. I mean, not just bass. They catch, like, you know, pike, muskie, walleye, sauger, everything. Like, you name it, they pretty much catch it. I mean, it's a little versatile. It's a little versatile little bait, man. And I mean, by all means, I can't wait to use it this summer and spring. So now I'm back over to the rest of my rods, and so starting off with this one right here. This is a Berkley rod. It's a lightning rod, and my cousin Ty, he actually put me on to this one. He told me that because I had seen it at Walmart, and so I gave him a call, and I was like, "Hey, what do you think about those Berkley lightning rods?" He was like, "Man, I'm not gonna lie to you. If it's not that, if you got the money, you might want to go ahead and get it. It's a good rod, you know. I used it last year for catfish, and I caught the biggest catfish that I've caught in a very long time last year. And I mean, by all means, it did not give it like it didn't, like it held up, it held its own. I pretty much put it that way. But yeah, man, like these rods, if as long as you got a good rod and you know not in a pretty decent reel, your setup shouldn't be too bad. It just depends on like what pound test line you have on there, and I'm gonna get into that stuff here in a little bit when I talking about the the different rods and different rods lines, different baits and stuff. But anyways, this right here is probably my go-to one besides the one I'm about to pull up here in a second. This is probably my go-to spinning reel, just because I just feel I got comfortable with it, and it's a 7-foot one, so it's pretty long. So I mean, I got a lot of leadway with it, and so I mean, it's probably I've grown to love it. And I've only had it for about not even a year yet. Yeah, I mean, all last summer when I was using it, I didn't have any problems with it. Nothing. Probably one of my favorite reels. This is the one I was talking about. This one right here is a light action rod, and this is what I was telling y'all about the, like, there's ultralight, light, medium, like medium heavy, and then heavy. I want to say I don't know if there's ultra heavy, but I think ultra heavy is more for like your deep sea, like huge catfish type deals. But anyways, yeah, this is a Shakespeare micro series, and I gotta say I've caught plenty of bass on this, and I mean I've actually caught a lot of crappie on this pole too, and I mean I've had this for, when did I get this? I want to say I got this at the end of towards the end of right before I got done with fishing in 2019. I want to say this when I got this one, because this is what I started like my collection off with, and I mean it's been holding up for a while. I mean you can see the reel that I have on here. I mean it's beat to death, but I mean still gives me A plus for me, man. And I gotta say, this is probably this is another go-to reel of mine. And then on this one, I have another Guggen bait. I'm telling you, Guggen has some really good stuff. I'm not gonna lie to you. They kind of do run expensive. Just depends on what you get. But I mean, what I would recommend anybody do is they have like Mystery Tackle Box and Guggen Squad. They do their boxes, and Mystery Tackle Box does their own, and then Guggen does their Mondo boxes, in which they come in various sizes, and Mystery Tackle Box does the same thing, in which I got this one out of the I want to say out of a Mystery Tackle Box. It might have been a Mondo box from Guggen, but yeah, but shout out to Guggen. Y'all make some pretty good baits, man. Anyways, yeah, man, I use these baits, man. They work for me. Like I said, they might not work for everyone. I mean, just your preference on baits. But I love Guggen Squad, and Guggen Squad's baits, man. They have some pretty good baits. So now I'm about to go into the whole different types of bait aspects of it. And so I'm going to just go over, your crankbaits, just the simple stuff. Crankbaits, spinner baits, buzz baits, just different stuff like that. And I'm not going to take a lot of time out just to, go over every single one. I'm going to just explain what they do for everybody who's, beginning. And if y'all see something that I've made a mistake on, or you have anything, go ahead and leave a comment, and I'll respond, and I'll take in everything. Like, I'm not a negative person. Like, I love the criticism because I like to learn new things too, because I'm not the best at it. I just love to do it, And so, yeah, go ahead and leave a comment. And if you haven't already, go ahead and like and subscribe down below. It'd be much appreciated, man. Just trying to get the channel growing and just start something new and get a tradition. But for crankbaits, even though this is a good, so this is what your typical crankbait will look like. Just a little I mean, you really, it doesn't look much like a fish, but once it's in the water in a bass, you know, like I said, the bass, like fish don't really see like we do. Like we don't, like they don't see as well as we do. But like once they see it's like swimming, because it once the bait hits the water, it does a totally different thing. So like once it hits the water and and you're reeling it in, it'll like make a certain map. So like with these, they'll just like go like that, like a movement like that and everything. And with crankbaits, I mean, those are probably your beginner, like not really beginner, but like, you know, some that you can start off for like if you want to really get big into bass fishing, you can want to start off with like small crankbaits, like I was showing you, because those are the, you know, because those are like really like those don't take really anything technique for real. I mean, you reel it in, and, you know, like but you don't reel it in too fast. You just reel it in slowly. But yeah. You know, crankbaits are probably were actually the first thing that I learned how to use besides anything. And, you know, I really didn't have my granddad there to, like, actually teach me. You know, my dad taught me a lot of stuff, but, like, when it came to bass fishing, my dad, he was, he bass fished, but, I mean, he really wasn't, like, competitive like my granddad was whenever he was alive and he was, like, you know, and younger and stuff. But, yeah. And so, there's different types of crankbaits, you know. Here's another crankbait right here. You know, it looks totally different, but I mean, they all do the same thing. And so, I mean, when it comes to crankbaits, I mean, like I said, it's your preference on what company you want to go through, whether it be Googan Squad or, you know, whichever one you want to go through, man, honestly. Yeah, so chatterbait, like I was showing you with the other one, you know, this looks a lot different than that one that I had down there, but this is the same company as the other one. And by Z-Man. And I gotta say, chatterbaits are probably one of my go-to baits now. I keep those a lot in my tackle bag and tackle box, and you know, and I never really was fond on them because I never really knew much about them until Ty told me about them. And I mean, Ty really like, you know, helped me grow on the whole sport of like bass fishing and everything because he done it in high school, and I mean, I'm gonna get it on video, man. I got to get it on video of his like whole setup of like how he has everything set up, and I'm gonna get him on here too. But yeah, man. Chatterbaits are more like your vibration baits. These are really what catch the fish's attention. If you can get one of these on the end of your pole, man, by all means, you're gonna catch a lot of fish. But like I said, you're not gonna necessarily catch fish right off the bat with them. You know, you're gonna have to work the pond or work the lake or wherever you're fishing that you're gonna have to work it with it. But I mean, once you learn how to use them, once you get comfortable with using them, by all means, you're gonna go far places with it. And so the next bait I'm gonna go with is spinner bait. And you know, this is a fairly small one. They get a lot bigger than this, but not too much, but a little bit bigger than this. But you know, this is your typical spinner bait. You know, most spinner baits have one blade, and this one actually has 2 Colorado blades on it. And the difference between the Colorado blade and the regular blades are going to be more like this one. Okay, this one has 2 of them. So your regular blades are going to be more like this, and keep in mind like these have been used before, so they're going to be dirty. But yeah, these are more like your regular blades, and then these are your Colorado blades. And the Colorado blades are like the teardrop blade, and that's probably what I refer to them from now on as a teardrop. But you know, those are 2 different blades that you can get on your spinner baits right there. And I mean, it's a perfect example though. And most of them, they have like the texture on them. Like I know you probably can't see it, but there you go. You can probably see it now. They have the texture of it, and it like kind of resembles a fish. And so once the sun hits these, and like you usually use spinner baits on cloudy days and when the water's real choppy, and you know. And it catches that in the flicker, like I said, the color and the appearance of it, and you know, just the flashing in the fish's eyes and stuff is gonna be like, oh, like that's dinner, like that's their dinner bell ringing right there, and so they're gonna come attack it. Back to the script. You know, when it comes to top water, and I'm gonna go to soft plastics after I do top water because I mean I'm not gonna go too in depth with all my hard bait. Like all my hard plastic baits. So, yeah, I'm gonna go into top water. I'm gonna go with my Whopper Plopper. Whopper Plopper is probably my favorite top water bait just because I got introduced to it by a close friend of mine, Austin Fields. Yeah, that's my dog right there. when I say he catches pigs, he caught a 7-pounder, man. And hopefully I can catch him this summer when I go home. And I'll show y'all what his 7-pounder looks like. But yeah, man, he put me on the whopper ploppers and everything. And whopper probably looks like this. And it has the pellet back in the back of it, and it makes a like plops like right behind it whenever you coming. And don't make fun of me for doing that. Please don't make fun of me. I'm just trying to give you an example of like what it does. But yeah, man, it's just it causes a lot of tension, and that's what you want to do with top water. And when I say top water fishing is probably some of the funnest fishing I do, top water by far is probably my favorite, in which I got plenty of them. I got this one. And that's another thing you have to watch out for, is them hooking you. At least I know my hooks are sharp and they're not going to let go of them fish this summer. Ooh, that hurt. But yeah. And then this is my white one. This is the one I use the most just because it's white. And, like a lot of fish, once they see white, they're like, oh. And so it's like like the appearance of it catches their eye. And then you have your stick baits, like you have stick baits like these. My favorite one is this Spook Junior right here. And I gotta mean, by all means, this Spook right here. I've caught plenty of fish on it. And this one actually took me it took me a while to actually learn how to use it, because I learned how to walk the dog. It's called walking the dog technique. And I mean, it takes so much time. And and if I'm not going too deep into if you're wondering why I'm not going too deep into it, I'm just trying to show you my setup on all the stuff that I use, especially when the season's coming up here soon for me, because I'm gonna try to get out there as much as I can this year. But it's the Lord's will. If COVID and everything isn't bad, and everyone's not sick, then I'm gonna try to get out there as much as I can. But yeah, man, same thing with this one. Instead of because this one doesn't have this one right here, it plops the plops of water. This one's just more of the stick bait, so you just more work this more than anything. But yeah, man, stick baits, as long as you can oh, that's what I was meant to say. If I'm not going too in depth with it, and you want to learn more about it, you can go on YouTube or Google and look up if you have questions about the water plopper or crankbaits or stick baits, you can go on YouTube and look at the different techniques that they use, because I'm not really gonna go into that right now, but later on in the season I'll probably go deep into it. But another option I use for top water are frogs. I have quite a few. I've gained a lot over the years. I got this one from Ty, and this is the funkiest looking frog I've seen in my life. And when I seen it, I was like, you know what? Watch me use this, and I'll catch a 10-pounder. And the biggest bass I've caught, and I'm not gonna lie to y'all, it was 4 pounds and 13 ounces. I mean, when I tell you that was probably the happiest moment of my life fishing wise. That's probably the happiest. I was so hyped, I wouldn't shut up about it. But yeah, man, and it's just but any frogs, they're really good, especially if you're working with moss on the lake or lily pads. You can flip it on there, and as long as your frog's touching that water, and there's bass up under the cover, because bass will retreat under cover because they don't have eyelids. And so what they'll do is they'll go to lily pads or any structure or any cover that they can to evade the sun so it doesn't hurt their eyes. And so that's why when you see a lot of people fishing, you'll see these, and they'll flip them on lily pads or onto top of moss, and they'll come up and smack it because it resembles a real frog on dang near. Pretty much it for my top water selection. Oh, I'm wrong. Sorry about that. For the last top water I'm gonna show y'all today is gonna be poppers. Poppers, what I started off with, and when I tell you, because when I still live with my parents and everything, me and Austin, every summer we'll get up, we'll go fish, and we'll sit out there for days on end just catching fish, man. Some days they'll bite, some days they won't. So the days they would bite, we'll stay out there all day. The days they wouldn't, we'll go in. Even when it was raining, we'll still go out there, and we'll try to catch as many fish as we could. But I mean, just stuff, man, that people can't take back from you. Just those memories, man, just stick with you. But when it comes to poppers, though, man, I mean, and I know I haven't used this one, but with poppers, the action that they use is you'll just flick, like you'll hold your rod tip down, flick it, and what it does is the mouth on it, it'll pop that water and make the like a like a like popping sound. Not so close to what I'm doing, but it'll be like whoop, whoop, like type deal, something like that. But yeah, man, like for hot water, I mean, if you've seen anything here that looks interesting to you, like I said, you can get on Google them, get on YouTube, see how different anglers use them and everything like that. But I mean, I'll show a lot of more stuff like once I get out there. I really can't I'm not doing y'all any justice by just showing y'all and actually doing it. I'm just showing you like my setup and everything, like I keep saying. And I'm sorry that I'm repeating myself. I'm still new to this YouTube stuff, so just bear with me, y'all. But all right, so now I'm going into my last topic of the video before we come to a close. And so one of the baits that I actually caught my 4-pounder off of, in which is actually on this reel right here, was this soft plastic. Well, it's not this particular one, like it wasn't this exact one, but same worm, you know. But like I caught my biggest bass off of a soft plastic bait, in which, like I said, it doesn't have to be the fanciest bait, it doesn't have to be the prettiest bait. It just can be as simple as that little worm right there. Be simple as that. So and there's different types. I'm gonna show you my top 3 baits soft plastic baits that I use throughout this fishing season. And so I'm gonna go ahead and get them out for you. They're not the ones that I use particularly, but I'm just giving you an example of what I use and everything. All right. And so for my top 3 soft plastic baits that I use throughout the year, I'm gonna show you this one. Swim baits. Swim baits are my #1. I love swim baits. Swim baits are just like, they're my go-to bait. I've caught lots of fish off of them. And by all means, like, even though these are like big ones, I mean, I'll probably won't use these unless I go to a lake or something like that and go fish. But, you know, when I go fishing at a pond, I'll probably use something a little smaller than these, probably about 2 inches shorter than these, just because I know the fish in there aren't that big. But yeah, but when it comes to swim baits, they resemble a fish. And I mean, there's different types of swim baits. I know Googan makes swim baits. Power Bait, they make swim baits. Zoom, Gary Yamamoto. I butchered that to death. I'm sorry about that. Just like I said, whatever brand you feel comfortable with buying stuff through, and it's your preference on what you want to buy. You can buy whatever you want, man. It's just whatever you feel like is comfortable for you, or what you feel like will be good for you. But on to the next thing. My second thing I use are probably these finesse worms. Trick and finesse worms are probably one of my other favorite top. Like I said, it's in my top 3, and this is what I caught the bass off of. In which, you know, you can set them up on different type of rig, Texas rig, wacky rig, you know, just different stuff, man. And I'll get into different types of rigs later on in the year, but you know, you set pretty much finesse and trick worms up on anything that you want to. Just depends on where you're fishing or how you're fishing, or like when you want to fish and everything. So, but yeah, man, highly recommend these and the swim baits. And then the last baits I use are Senkos. Senkos, like kind of like stick baits and everything. And so I love using these too. I love using these on the wacky rig, like I just said. I love using these better on the wacky rig just because it's more proportional, and they just tend to do better. And like with durability wise, they do better. But I mean, 10 out of 10 recommended for these, especially with Gary Yamamoto. I almost butchered it again. But yeah, with these baits, I mean, you can't go wrong with them. And I'm actually pull it out the bag so you can see it, and I'm gonna do that with the other 2. But yeah, this is what they look like. You know, just like a little slender worm. What you'll do is you'll hook it like through the middle, and what it'll do is just like sit like this. This is all you'll do with it. Bounce it off the bottom. Are your finesse/trick worms? You know, and usually like people like using these on the. That's actually a Texas rig I got down there. setup. But yeah, people like usually sitting like this and like it'll zip and then it'll just like people pull it and it'll sit like this and like it'll float, and people like doing that. Yeah, man, these are swim baits right here and everything, and really good, very durable. I mean, they're just like any other soft plastic bait. Usually I use them on like for a trailer. Usually what I do is I put a jig head on it and then use it like that. But most of the time I just use a jig head for them. Yeah, that's pretty much all the gear I have for this season and everything. So hope y'all enjoyed the video. Hope you learned something new today. I'll try to post as much as I can. But with me being in school, you know, schoolwork has to come first before anything. So, so I'm not gonna give you like exact dates when I'm gonna start dropping videos. It's gonna be like every chance I get to cover something new, that's when I'll drop the video. But yeah, I'm glad you tuned in today. Hope you, like I said, hope you learned something new and everything like that. And if you have questions, just leave a comment down in the comment section below. And like I said, if you haven't subscribed, go ahead and subscribe and like this video. And God bless and thank you.